About a month ago, I reviewed the FlexiSpot C7 Premium Ergonomic Chair after using it for 1 week. Now that it's a month later, it's time for an update to see if I still feel the same as I did in my initial review. Before we dive in, I want to mention that FlexiSpot sent me the C7 chair for the purpose of reviewing it, which I did previously, and a link to that full review is in the description. I was not paid to make that video or this video, and FlexiSpot does not have any input on my review or my comments in this video. I do have an affiliate link in the description for you if you decide you'd like to check out the C7 chair or any other chairs from FlexiSpot and you'd like to support this channel. All right, let's start with a brief reminder of what I said were the major pros and cons of the C7 chair in my original review. Things I liked about the C7 included the overall quality, which has a relatively premium feel that fits with a chair in the $300 to $400 price range. The comfort of the mesh seat I also liked, and the certification for stability, as well as the number of ergonomic adjustments and the ease of use of all of those adjustments, as well as a good warranty. As far as cons, I noted that the wheels in particular were kind of just okay, and the type of quality that you would get on lower priced chairs. I also noted that paying an extra $40 for the mesh seat seemed like a little bit much, considering, FlexiSpot has some other chairs that just come with a mesh seat for no extra cost. And if I was being nitpicky, the armrests really were nothing special. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just, they don't maybe feel super premium. Now, separate from the pros and cons, I also talked about the lumbar support. It's kind of an in-between pros and cons thing because it is very subjective and it really varies a lot from one person to the next as to whether you find it comfortable. And so overall, I concluded that the C7 kind of seemed to be worth it for the discounted price that FlexiSpot does offer somewhat regularly, which puts the price in between $300 and $400. However, the list price, if you're not getting any type of discount, is a little too high for what the C7 really is. All right, so now let's get to the update on the C7. I have been using it for a few more weeks, and I actually have kept my old chair and been swapping it in and out just to really see if I could tell the major differences between them. And I have a little bit of an update, but I mostly feel the same. In general, I have not changed my opinion about any of the major pros and cons or my overall assessment. In terms of wear and tear, there's really nothing to report, which is good because 1 month is not that long in terms of the life of a chair, but nothing really to report there in terms of wear and tear. It hasn't developed any noticeable noises or creaks that weren't there in the first week. And the mesh seat is still nice and firm, but still comfortable. The only thing that might be worth mentioning is that the texture of the mesh of both the back and the seat seems to pick up dust and pet hair pretty easily, but a lint roller has been pretty effective for me. If I notice that, my cat gets a lot of cat hair on it, a lint roller picks that up easily, so it hasn't been a problem. I also now feel even more strongly about what I said in regards to the lumbar support. Not everybody is going to be comfortable with pronounced lumbar support like this. Even in the fully upright position, it's still quite pronounced. It's still, it's the first thing you feel when you lean back. Now at this point, I am used to it and I do like having it. And one thing that I do appreciate about how it moves forward and backward is that sometimes I just feel like leaning forward in my chair a little bit, and without a dedicated support or without anything to kind of follow you, you end up kind of slouching if you're leaning forward and not leaning on the backrest. With the adjustable lumbar support, you can unlock it and it goes into the forward position where you can then lock it in that forward position, and then it kind of props up your lower back. So even if you're not using the backrest, if you want to sit forward for a while, you're not slouching. It's still, kind of forcing you to have better posture. So that's a plus. But that doesn't change the fact that whether you like this type of lumbar support is going to be very subjective and vary from person to person. So if you're considering the C7 chair and you've never had a chair with dedicated lumbar support, I would recommend going to a store, that's near you that has office chairs. Look for ones that have this type of dedicated, pronounced lumbar support, not the kind that's just kind of subtle, behind the backrest, but really pronounced that sticks out in front of the backrest. And just sit in one or two of those. See if you're comfortable in general with having that type of support for your lower back, because even though it's not the same, obviously, as the C7, it'll give you an idea of what to expect and if maybe it's just not for you. So spending the extra time with the C7 has made me feel even more strongly that this type of lumbar support won't be perfect for everybody. But FlexiSpot does offer other chair options, including the C5 and the C3. They've got a few different ones at different price points, and not all of them have this type of really pronounced lumbar support. But otherwise, I do still feel the same about the C7 as I did in my original review. I think if you're in that price range of $300 to $400, then this is a good option if you can get it for that discounted price with a lot more ergonomic adjustments and a little bit more of a premium feel than your average office chair. So that'll do it for my update on the C7 chair from FlexiSpot. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about it, or if you picked one up for yourself, let me know how you're liking it. Don't forget to subscribe to the Semi-Pro Tech and Gear channel, and hey, while you're here, why don't you check out this video? I am sure you'll like it. Thanks everybody, see you next time.